Hey everybody, what's up? It's your man, it's your homeboy, it's your brother from another mother, Monstrosities X, Godling, the creator, Jay DeLille, the artist. I know that shit is getting long, right? But I'm back with y'all talking about my ragmen and the skulls for the hoodies. Now, this is the size of the original ones that I'm really working hard on. These the ones that'll be around 20 inches, 20 to 23 inches tall. Well, maybe even taller than that, depending on the size of the guy. Uh, and I have others that I've worked on. I've got like around 80 of these skulls, and you can see I've been trying to find the center line down the face, and to where to put the teeth and line everything up. But so uh, my problem with the ragman is shaping the ribs, and I wanted to uh, use plastic, right? But then I said, daggone, because it's thin, and I can mold it, shape it, use a little heat, curve it, and this type of material for detergent is a chemical that goes inside, so the plastic is kind of durable. It lasts, and it won't break when you fold it up and bend it. So, um, and then I thought that maybe I should try to use cloth because it's a ragman, and I'll use the glue, the same thing that I use for the skulls, and make ribs out of that and keep it all cloth. But it's gonna get a lot more top heavy with this, with all of these, the weight of this glue and everything in there. So even so, that's for the big ones. It's still probably gonna happen. That it's gonna be one of these two, the plastic or the. Well, this is much lighter though. The plastic or the the rag. So the thing that is bothering me is like, daggone, I've been trying to make all of these complicated versions. Uh, this one I was making somewhere in my 30s. I'm in my late 50s now, so I made this. I was making this one in my 30s, but I couldn't find the right material. I needed some spandex to put over the top of it to finish it off, and I never was able to get the material. And when I went to the city, I forgot to look for spandex material too because I didn't have enough money. That's what it was. I went to get flesh colored for the big ones, for these 20-inch joints. Uh, Now I started testing for these that probably are going to be closer to 14 inches, uh, 12 to 14 inches. The hoodies. They're going to have big heads and smaller bodies, and they're going to be more caricatures because of, but they're going to still have, because of the size, you're going to have the teeth, the mouth, the eyes, the eyebrows are going to move, everything like these, like the big ones. But the smaller ones, I wanted to make some smaller ones just to fuck around with, and really to show you what I'm doing. And this is basically something like I'm gonna put braces on it. This was supposed to be a female, so I wasn't trying to go all out with a whole lot of armor. I just wanted to put something on them. And really, she got a little bit more muscular than I intended. But but this is what gave me the idea that I can make a bigger version and more what I'm trying to pull off now with these. And then the hoodies, when I'm making these, I'm going, how come I haven't made the simple ones that I used to make back in the days? And this is one of them. This one right here is one of the ones that I made when I was a kid. 11, 10, I'm not sure. 9, 10, 11. I know I was playing with them for a while, so let me see if I can lift this sucker up. I got them covered because when I made them, I was young. I made them raw, but they was in proportion. They was in proportion. The arms is long enough, go down to the crotch, the wrist, go down to the crotch, the um, the distance between the top of the head and the crotch is the same, similar distance from the crotch to the ground. So I had my proportions in there, but I didn't try to go all out on the chest muscles or anything like that. And you see, there's no posing of the head. I just tied a string. I used to put a rubber band, but the rubber bands would get old and dry out, and I'd have to replace it. He used to have hair too. I don't, you can see the indenture around his skull. The rubber band popped and the hair fell off. I still have it somewhere. It's just string, and yes. But I made these guys back when I was a youngin', and I never thought that there was gonna be something that I could use to like art form or like to sell or anything like that. So uh, I said, yeah, I can do this together in one day, right? And I start trying to make one of the quick ones, like these old ones. But back in the day, I also made some small ones that were a little bit. This one is about hands. Well, it's a little bit bigger than hand size, but his feet go down to about here. Let me see if I could reveal a little bit of his leg. I got one hand here. So I gotta try to. I thought I had it. Now I'm not gonna do it because I'm doing the show too much, and that's the reason why I got him covered up. It's just the way I put clothing on his leg. It has a little leather strip down the side, and then I tied. The leather had holes in them, so I kind of tied them together like shoelace, laced it up, and hold the two sides together, like two strips of leather, and it's being held together like a shoe, a shoe. So down the side of his leg. I'll set it up where I can show it to you, but I only got one hand, so this is why I can't really show you the way I want to. Let me see if I can pop something out here without revealing. Let me see if I can. I can't find that sucker. I'm trying. Oh, there it is. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can uncover without uncovering too much. All right. Let me see. See, that's some of the clothing that I was putting on him. You see down the side of his leg. He's kind of bulky, but yeah, some better light. Okay, yeah, you can see I laced it up, and yeah, I used to play with these suckers, and they're durable. They don't break, so you could throw them around. That's why I took them out once or twice to play with me and my friends, and yeah, they like my toys better than they like theirs because my stuff didn't break. And the only thing, they didn't stand up that well, because I ain't make them to stand up. I just make them to replenish my supply. So yeah, I started making this one, and he's supposed to be a small one, but I immediately got into it because he's supposed to just have a head just like that, just stuffed with a little material, and then tied off and go down and make the arms. He didn't have a show. He's not supposed to have a neck. But I went on and started making a neck, and then started thinking about the ribs and all of that again. And so now I'm thinking, oh, let me start all over. Not with this one. I'm going to finish this one. But uh, the thing is, where is it? Did I think I buried under here somewhere. Let me see if I can lift this up without revealing. Okay, where did I do it? Oh, here it is. So when thinking about the rib cage on this one, that's why sometimes I take a while to do things, because I've come up with like 3, 4, 5 different designs on how to. Well, you can see plastic over there for the rib cage, then the cloth with the glue, and then I came up with this just for coming just contemplating things. And for this one, because I used Proco, right? When I started, I went looking on in YouTube to figure out the proportions, human proportions, so that I can figure out the size. Once I make the head, is there any way to judge that, the rest? Because I know that the 12 head measurement system, but that doesn't tell you how big the ribs should be as compared to the body. It doesn't. You really can't judge that. So I went on Proco. Well, I went on YouTube and I looked up human proportions, and what popped up was a Proco video with red lettering that said human proportions, and then a skeleton in the middle, and it had these blue boxes around the head and the rib cage and all that. Is all the way down. It's like 6, 7, 8 boxes, and that's the video. It says human proportions by somebody's method, where they use the skull, the back of the skull, for proportion to measure, and that's the video that I use to get my proportions for building out the body, or from the head to toe. And so I just rolled up some material because I was trying to figure out, am I have to if I do this and put the rib cage on here, will I have to make more smaller glues, and try to figure out how to get the rib cage? And this is just sweat cloth, sweat pants type material, hoodie material, and I just rolled it up. I cut the ends. I cut the ends diagonally, like okay, if it was rolled out straight, I cut it on a diagonal like this, so that the end of it is a point. You can see it's a little pointed at the end, and so that when it rolled it up, it would be thinner at the top and fatter at the bottom. But also, I tied it tight, put a hole in the back, and tied it tight, so that it would have this thinner shape at the top, barrel out towards the bottom, and then I said, "Daggone! All I have to do now is cut the wedge up in here for the bottom of the ribs, where the abdominals meet the rib cage. Cut that shape out, and then I said, damn, if once you start cutting stuff, if you don't do it right, you lose. This whole thing can be a waste, right? So I just hesitate to cut, and I start thinking, is there any other way of doing it without cutting? And if I tie string in here and cinch it up, not only will I get the barreling shape, where it would be thinner up here, narrower up here, and then come out in the middle, and then bow back in and down here, I will be able to create that V shape without cutting, just by tying this off in here, right? And pulling uh, pulling the string tight. It'll squinch it up and pull it tight in the middle and barrel it out. So it took time for me to mess around and play with things and see what can come out of it and what could come out of it. When be inventing shit new is not easy. It just doesn't come to you. You have to fuck with shit and make mistakes, come back and fuck with it again, and sometimes put it down and come back to it later. And so that's what I've been doing, and I think that I'm gonna be attaching this to this one. I'm gonna make his arms, and but I'm gonna also go back and make a simpler version, like how this old one. I'm gonna go real basic. I'm not gonna put no neck or anything. I'm just gonna put them up, put some clothes on them so that I can hide some of the things, and then I've been cutting up all kinds of. I got bags of material that I've been like old sweatshirts or hoodies or anything, old T-shirts, I'm cutting off the sleeves, well, not cutting it off. I'm cutting the thread so that the material isn't cut, so that I have solid pieces from edge to edge, and without holes and all that. And so taking the time with a razor blade to cut all of those threads, and without cutting up the material, that takes a few hours. Sometimes it took me several hours to get through the different shirts, because I have these t-shirts. You can see this. Well, no, you can't. Well, this is a t-shirt, or old t-shirt. It's too small for me. It's one of my sisters or my brothers, my father's. I mean, and so I'm going to use it to make the very first small one that I made was a white one, and then I had gotten one. I had one, because how many people have brown T-shirts? But this is years ago. I asked my mother if I can cut up this brown T-shirt that I had, because it had a little hole in it, and it was a little small for me. So she said yes. So I had a white, a black one, or a brown one, that I used to have fighting each other, because they was the same size. They was about they could fit in the palm of my hand. So uh, their head would be up here, and their toes would be down here, their feet would be down there, and about about this big. So and I couldn't find them. They're somewhere around here, because I put the brown one. I know I have the brown one around here, and because he's my favorite one, I used to be able to carry him around in my pocket because he's so small. And he was really put together really well. He has a fur vest on, a pile fur vest on, and some pants and boots that I had made out of denim, and some wrist braces. So he came out looking really good, and I was gonna show y'all what he looked like, but I can't find him right now. So I said, "Daggone, I've been going, daggone, how come I haven't made any more of those really basic ones?" So I said, "What's wrong with my thinking, man?" So I said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna make some small ones. I got this T-shirt material, and I'm gonna make a few small ones so y'all can see." And so that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to make up some real quick ones, and I have some material that I can use for braces, and I got some leather, some old leather jackets that my sister and my mother have in the house that they don't, they're not here. So my, my sister's not gone, but she don't live nowhere near here, and I'm not calling up to give her back no old ass jacket. So, but here's an old hat that my father had that has some kind of suede material, and this was gonna go good, but I didn't think it would. Well, it does really look good with this white, but I think I'd save the black or the burgundy, something darker, and save this kind of rust colored, or what do you call? I don't know what you call that. But this suede looking color for the blues, and because I know I'm not gonna be using my flesh tone material until I get those are gonna be saved for. And if people want to buy these and I start making them, I'm gonna have to go out and buy a fresh supply of everything. I'm not gonna these everything I'm making here is for me. Just to show off and see how badass these motherfuckers are gonna be. But yeah, these bigger ones like the hoodies, 14 inches, and I'm gonna make some like this that's gonna be around the same size, but they're gonna be more proportionate, not big headed. And those guys are gonna be. I'm gonna try to sell those too. That maybe 100, 200, 150, something like that, because of the type of work. And that's these I'm gonna be putting in. It's gonna be uh, no hard ribs and stuff. Even here, you can see I tried to put a chin in. I used pieces of the, the glue that was left over. I cut off the edges, and I put it in here to create a jaw and a chin line. and then you can see it's not fully shaped the way I want, but it's not supposed to be perfect. well, I'm trying to get it as perfect as I can, but you can see the shape that I'm trying to create, and I want to be able to. Well, it's this. I want it to be able to be articulatable, fully articulating, and yeah, this is gonna be about the size of the ribs because that Proco, if you use the skull, it's you can see it measures about the same size as the skull on both sides, and it's supposed to be two for the. Now this is face forward, boy. I'm talking to your son. And so it's supposed to be about the size of the skull. If it's a little bit smaller, it's okay because I might put another layer on the outside just to hold everything together, and before I attach it. And then I got to figure out how to attach it so it doesn't rotate and spin around when you're trying to turn his head and other things like that. It's gonna be and put the arms and shoulders in. And he's gonna be a badass because with it like this, I could just stitch the pectorals right to the material, and the pecs will go up from here to the shoulder, here to the deltoids, just above the bicep. And yeah, this would be great. And again, all I have to do is try to create that V shape up in here for where the abdominals attach. I wish I had both hands. I need to get a camera set up so that I can show you what I'm talking about a little bit better. But I'll be using this again when I'm explaining the clay, because I'm getting ready to make another video about the clay because I fucked up a little something over there. So anyway, uh, this is just the update. You're gonna see what this sucker looks like once I get this sucker made, and then I get some straps put on him, and some clothes, and some braces, and a belt around his waist, and the boots, and the greaves, and all of that type of shit. Yeah, you all gonna say, "Hey, wow!" And he's gonna have. I can use this pile right here. Look at this fucked up and dirty, but I could clean that up. Damn, that shit looks real dirty under the camera. But anyway, I can use all of this stuff. I cut all of this stuff free, cut out the seams, and use the material. Look at this. Good suede, man. I think this is suede. It's been holding up all these years. My pops passed back in 2002, so it's been holding up. Some kind of cheap, thin suede. It feels durable, man, and this is gonna go good, man. I could put this on another. This would be good for some gladiator shit. It would be layered with some regular leather. So you put like a layer of black underneath this, and then this would go on top, and then maybe cut a hole in the middle to show the metal parts. That shit would be fire. And then have some straps coming off of it, wrapping it around him. And I know how to make buckles too, so I might not do that for gladiator shit, but depends. I have to do some research, look at that Spartacus show because they had some really good gladiator shit in that. So yeah, and not only that, I want to have and these guys that I make the ones that I'm talking about for that'll sell for about 150. These will be called. They're not gonna have the gladiator shit. Well, maybe, but I'll be calling them rag warriors, right? And there'll be rag men. That's going to be the plain ones, the small ones that I make, right? And then there's going to be the rag men. Then the rag warriors. Then I'm going to make rag knights, the same size ones that are going to have the rag warriors. They're going to be rag knights where I put a little bit more work and put armor on them, some kind of plastic or maybe aluminum, plastic wrapped in aluminum, or like I said, coated with some kind of suede or leather, and then treated with some kind of metal or lion heads or and all kinds of different crazy stuff I'm gonna put on there, eagle heads and beaks and all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, we're gonna be working on a lot of stuff get real creative with this shit and see, and those will sell for more like 200, 250, some shit like that, depending on how much work it takes to get this shit done and look really pretty, the muscles up and everything. So I'm gonna finish this. I'm working on this. I think this should be finished. I'm not gonna put no deadline on me, but I should be able to get this done once I get this rib cage connected. Uh, it should work pretty good, pretty quickly. It should it should go pretty good. Well, then I'll have to work on the hips, the pelvis, and see if I can get that shaped well, because the pelvis, like I said, look at that Proco video. It tells you everything. So yeah, that's gonna be the next thing, and that way I'll get my width, the shoulder width, everything. I'm gonna make his shoulders a little bit wider than the average man, so that he really has some that muscular triangle going on up there. So that wedge from the shoulders down to his abdominals, he's gonna have it on them lats and everything. And this cloth, so everything's gonna move the way it's supposed to. It's gonna be great. All right, so I'm out of here. This went a little bit longer than I intended. But yeah, I hope to get this, and I'm gonna keep working on the statue, because see, with these, it's gonna be slow for me to do one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. But the statue, I do one and just get it duplicated. So that's why I'm trying to finish that statue up, because then the turnover would be a whole lot faster with it if I can get that one statue completed and then just print out some. So, all right then, let me get on up out of here. Uh, like, subscribe, do that YouTube thing, and yeah, I'll be back at y'all. Thanks for thanks for coming into the Goddom and checking us out. Y'all creatives, come over here, man. Welcome to the Goddom.